Okay, so following on from my last video, which I put out yesterday, I just want to go into a little bit more detail now on this pattern. So I did talk about the bigger picture yesterday, but today I just want to talk about this C wave. So the beginning of the C wave was a weak 5 wave move. According to my count, it moved down in 3 waves. In each wave, one, two, three, four, five. So I haven't changed that view since I made it because there's no other way I can basically look at this pattern. But the zigzag that we're seeing now is the first zigzag of the correction for wave two. So in essence, I'm calling it wave one at the lows here. So what do I expect to happen? Now, wave A has to happen first. Wave A, and then you're going to get your wave B, wave C, D, E, and then I expect wave three to begin at some point, right? So potentially it could look like this. Now, when wave A is the largest wave, like pretty big, the rest of the waves tend to be smaller, especially when it's just getting a bit ridiculous now in terms of the time that it's taking to unfold. It could definitely just do this type of thing. I've seen it many times. Um, and when you zoom out, right, it doesn't look like a big deal, right? Now, of course, it is a big deal in terms of, that's crazy. The price, how can it fall that low, etc., all that sort of stuff. Whatever, I don't care about that. That's not the point I'm trying to make here, right? I'm just talking about perspective, right? If you zoom out, it looks normal. When you zoom in, it looks like what? But it's already starting to get crazy. So why would you even question that type of thing? Like, is it possible? Like it is possible, right? So I suppose looking at this wave here and my last video that I put out, I did say we're looking to trade the wave C, all right? But I wasn't clear on one thing, that there's a couple of wave Cs to unfold at this point, right? So there's the wave C for wave B, right, which is part of the larger wave B correction. Now, when I say B, I mean brackets B for wave A, right? So the wave A itself, the larger wave A, because it's all fractal patterns, right? That's how it works. So there's a large wave A, there'll be a B, C, D, E. That's what all this other stuff is here, right? A, B, C, D, E. Now, but before we get to that, we need to see the first zigzag complete. So what is that about? Well, obviously it would be the full B wave. So once we get B completed, we're going to get C. Right now, this is why I think we're gonna go up and down a few times, but not not in a crazy way. I think we're gonna range sideways for a bit, like this sideways type of thing that we're seeing here. I'll just give you an example with the parallel trend line, right? I believe we're going to see like a lot of sideways price action within this area, right? Um, so so this A, B, C, D, E that you're seeing here, that's just the B wave, right? So when we get this D wave complete, which I believe is going to happen soon, we're going to get a move down to complete B, and then we're going to get C, right? So once we see this move down, it'll be another buying opportunity. Now, with this next move down, there's no particular point of support. Like this move here that you're seeing that went up, this point of support here was pretty good because you can't go below this level, right? So you had that, but this next move won't have that same, you know, um, it won't be as easy, right? You won't have that. You could dip below it and break the support, but more than likely it's going to go up. The next support level would be down here, right? Which obviously is a long way off, and there's nothing to say that it can't go, as low, you know, not ex- not going down below it, but going near it. So the only thing I suppose that would kind of give you a guide as to how low would be the length of wave A of the B wave, right? So typically A and C are similar in length. That's why that's that length. So I don't think it'll go much lower than that area. So depending on where this wave D ends, you'd kind of be moving this up a little bit. So, higher highs, that type of thing, it could happen, but it doesn't mean that it will. Wave Cs can be longer than wave As, so it's not really a guide. It's just like a guideline. Okay, so at this point in time, we're waiting for just a final move up before a reversal, right? How you trade that? Well, I could probably get into that, I suppose. Um, I'm actually creating a new website at the moment that's basically going to give you all these tradable ideas, right? And that's the name of the website, Tradable Ideas or Idea. I got all of them in the different ways you can spell it, basically. And I'm going to provide these ideas in the future. Uh, on my website, you can see that I've mentioned that recently. But the point is that we want to be able to get into these moves with particulars, like bits of information that we can use as guides. I recommend learning RES Wave so that you understand every tiny piece of information that is put out, by me on this channel. But tradable ideas will take it that next step further. Um, but it'll be like a lazy trader's approach. You'll be able to trade it without knowing RS Wave, and that's what I wanted to bring. Um, you know, it's going to take a little bit more work to get that up and running, but I want to do it in a way where you just don't have to know RS Wave, because a lot of people just probably just want to make the money, right? They don't give a shit about learning a methodology that I created, right? They just don't care. And plus there's a lot of nuance to it. But once you get it, it's pretty cool. It's understandable. Um, you get a big picture view of patterns in general. But if you don't care about that, then don't worry. I'm going to have you covered soon. So, yeah, so this move, I believe, is limited. It's only got one more small leg up eventually to come, and then a retracement, 5 waves. So you could trade that as well. And then that last move up, right? For B wave only, right? And then we have C, and then obviously D, right? D and E. Now, I don't want to get way too technical on this, but I just want to sort of illustrate to you what I'm talking about here so you understand, get get the flow, get the picture. Right. So then after B is completed, you're going to get your C wave. Right now, yes, I've gotten better at understanding the patterns. It's more about identification more than labeling. Labeling is fancy, colorful. That's great. Good on you. You can label a chart with fancy colors. Uh, that's old for me now. I don't care about that. For me, it's more about actually getting the pattern right. So, yeah, you're going to get your C, your D, your E, and then that big thrust to 50,000. That's what I believe is going to happen, right? So in this video, I just wanted to highlight what I believe is coming for this. Now, the D wave, obviously, we don't know that it's, that that's going to do exactly that type of thing. But if you have a look at this zigzag here, you can see that something very similar happened, right? Something very similar happened. I think it will happen again, right? Just because this is already an expanded correction. And yeah, I believe that's going to happen. Obviously, we're going to be tested on this, but I'm not going to be trading the D wave anyway, so I don't care. What I'm going to be doing is trading the C wave here. So C wave 1 and then C wave 2. So in the last video, I said we're going to trade the C wave. Now, the first C wave for the B wave is only going to be as long as the A wave, so it's not going to go to 50,000. I don't think it will. Might go to 40, roughly thousand. But then we're going to get another move down, the D, the E, and then the thrust to 50,000. So I just thought I'd clarify that a little bit, and yeah, I'll bring you another update soon.